Hi, this is Tracy at Sierra Pacific Mortgage. I wanted to give you a tour of our website. You'll come to this page. If you do not have a login, you'll hit New User and it will come up with this page. You will select Sacramento. When it comes up, you will select me. I'm at the bottom, so I'm easy to find. You'll fill in and then you'll request access. Now you have access to Sierra Pacific, but let's presume that you already have it and you're going to log in. So now you are at our website once it comes up, and right here you've got rates. This is the home page. Right here under Loan Center, that's how you import a loan. And your pipeline is all the files you have with us, and we have a timeline. I can't show you with this demonstration because you don't have a pipeline, but it gives you everywhere that each individual file is at. Here you've got products and rates. Rates again. Product pricing, we have a pricing engine. And here are product matrices, so it's the matrix for every kind of program, which is really important to you because it gives you all the guidelines for Fannie, Fannie Direct, High Balance, FHA, VA, HARP, Home Path, depending what you're doing. Our policy and procedures are our overlays, and there's a search find capability in there that is very easy to use and very useful, so you'll find that kind of interesting. Over here under resources, we have, this is super important, turn times, because you're going to ask us that a lot. So we publish what our turn times are. So we're 2 to 3 days in setup, we're 3 to 4 days in underwriting, prior to docs are 3 to 5 days. Now, if you are a purchase, we have a purchase guarantee, 48 hours in all stages. A stage is also your CSR, who is Danae. So let's say you give us a loan, our setup will, your purchase, our setup will take 48 hours, your underwriting will take 48 hours. Now you've given us your prior to docs. Well, Danae has to go through those prior to docs and make sure all prior to docs are present. So that can take her anywhere from 3 hours to 48 hours. Danae rarely takes 48 hours, but if her desk is that full, she has that allotted time. So then you go in line for underwriting and it's 48 hours. Now you're cleared for docs. Now keep in mind, you could have to go out to MI and that could take 48 hours, or maybe there's a desk review for 48 hours. That's not, on every file, but I want you to be aware that if it is, there's extra time. So then it's 48 hours for your docs to go out. Once we get the funding package back and all your prior to docs that are listed on your approval before you get signed are uploaded, then it's 48 hours till you get a funding sheet, and after that you're in control. Another way to move your file along faster is the gold label approval right here. And what that means is when you come out of your initial underwriting and you have 3 or less broker conditions, you are given a gold label. When you receive a gold label, that means you go in front of all the other refis that don't have gold labels. So I've seen gold labels turn in 2 days. I've seen them be 3 or 4 days if we're running 6 days. So it's just a really nice way to move your file along. Here's our cutoff time for funding. That's when we have to have all the prior to funding conditions in so that you can fund that day. And here's our lock policy, which is super important, and that's where you find it. So that page is very helpful. Then over here in tools, what you will have is training library. And training library is one of my favorite spots because what's there is under FHA, we have an FHA training presentation. This is good for people that haven't done FHA or haven't done it in a long time, or are looking up something that, slips the mind or changes all the time and you want to know what it is now, like MI. MI has been changing a lot in the years, so here's the chart and here's where you would go for that. So that's helpful. Also under here is, under products, we've got the same kind of great presentation for VA. There's people that haven't done a VA in years. Well, this is a nice way to familiarize yourself with it. If you do VA, this is a nice way to get the links you need for different things. The the forms, charts, how to do things, how to calculate. It's extremely helpful. Okay, so there's other things in the training library that you may find helpful when you're new to us, but those are the main things that I like. Then you go to document library. In the document library is where all your forms are. Now in the old days we used to print out the forms and put them in a file and pull it from there, fill it out, make copies of it. Don't do that anymore. With compliance issues, forms are changing so much all the time that that's dangerous. You want to get the form from our website each time and fill it out. Generally speaking, you can fill it out right online so it's nice and clean. Notice how you can fill this all out right here, and that makes it easier to read, and you know it's up to date. So that was the anti-steering. There's the doc draw request form. You've got your submission form. If you need to get the appraisal ordered but you don't have a full package yet, you can use this request for disclosure. What it is, it's a slim file and it tells you in there what we need, but it just gets us to disclose the file. We kick it back to you, but it opens up the portal so that you can order the appraisal. Here's an intent to proceed. That must be with the submission, as well as the LO cert has to be with the submission. The LDPGSA is with the submission. You fill out the form completely, but we will pull that for you. You don't have to do that any longer. If you're doing an FHA loan, please order the FHA case number as soon as you smell an FHA loan coming down the pike. Because you have to submit this with the loan, you have to do it beforehand, and we take up to 24 hours to get that to you. 4506, we need it on each person. And keep in mind, let's say they had different names. In 2011 they were Smith, and in 2012 they got married and they became Jones. I need a 4506T in Smith and I need it in Jones. Or let's say in 2011 they lived in Folsom and in 2012 they moved to Roseville. I'll need a 4506 with each of those addresses. Along with that, if they have a corporation, a business, I need a 4506 for the business as well. All right, so those are the ones in submission. There are a lot of, here we've got VA forms. There's a lot of good information here on the forms, but another thing I want to show you is in appraisal. You've got your appraisal fees. This is how you calculate what your fee will be for the appraisal. And I don't quote that because, as you can see, there's different counties, different areas, different hits. So that's not something I will do, but I will send you to this website. Also, what I recommend with every single file is the appraiser error. This is the error waiver. You use this if you didn't have it up front when the appraisal wasn't delivered correctly from the AMC or at all, and that waives it, but it's a 4-day wait time. So if you have it in the file up front, that automatically kicks out the 4-day wait time and you're good to go. So that's another way to go. So see right here, pipeline. When you have files, you will go into your pipeline and you'll select, this will be filled with names, and there's a status bar and all kinds of information. Once you click on your loan number, you will come to this page. It's the Loan Navigator. In here, review loan details, that's where your conditions are. That's where you go to check. It's upfront time, it's current time. So you'll be able to see when things are signed off. What also is in there is Sierra Pacific staff. So anybody connected to the file, their name and contact information is in there, and that can be very useful. Now here's product pricing. You saw product pricing on the home screen. This one is specific to this file, so you don't have to retype all the information in. Here's how you lock a loan. Access e-folder, you go here to send us the paperless file. We're paperless, so that's where you would go to send us the file. But in this case, we're going to go back. And so that's how you will do that, and I can show you that when you get to that point. Appraisal management, that's how you order the appraisal. And of course here you can view your DU findings and other things. But so this is what you use to completely get around your file. Okay? All right, so we did that. We went through the fact that on your home page you've got rates, you've got products. I'm trying to get back to the home page, but it's not going. There we go. So you've got rates, you've got your product matrices. I'll show you what that looks like. It'll bring up all the things that we do, okay? And let's just go into this one since it's your standard. Your grids are there for your LTVs. Those are super important, and you want to read the footnotes, so that's where you're going to get that kind of information. And then after all the grids, it starts going into the guidelines. So for instance, gift of equity has changed, and so that's why it's in red. Maximum finance properties, it gives you some information on that, and continuing. So that's where you want to go for all that. Now this is a tour of our website. There's much more you probably have to ask, and if you have any questions, you can call me at 916-223-7062. And thank you for joining the training, and till the next time.